So Kim, you emailed me in the last 2 or 3 days.
Yes.
And I'm going to give a little summary of it here so we can kind of cut the time down a little bit for our recorded session. And basically you've been having some pains, back pains and other pains that haven't seemed to budge with the tapping form of EFT. I've got that correct?
Yes, I did both standard EFT, if you like, and then the gold standard EFT. Just, in fact, I did that for a good 3.5 hours. And I like to think I thought I was pretty good at EFT, which I thought with clients. It didn't budge at all. Nothing didn't go up, didn't go down, stayed the same, and I couldn't work it out.
And your pains right now?
Yes, exactly. Right now, as I'm talking to you, back pain is high. Like the top centers, like a band across the back. It's gone back up to about an 8 today. Sort of a bunion that appeared out of nowhere on my right foot is still burning. That's about, if I touch it, it goes up to about a 7 or 8 if I press it.
Okay. What is it just sitting there?
I beg your pardon?
Just sitting there without touching it or anything. What number do you give it?
If I focus on it, I can feel the burning. So if I put my focus on it, it goes to, it's a 4 without prodding it.
Okay. All right. Okay. Now, you tried the tapping form, and you got no place.
Got no place at all.
Okay. And then you are experimenting with, you're kind of a newbie at, if I get it right, Optimal EFT.
Yes.
Our more spiritual form, the unseen therapist and all of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you have gotten, if I understand it right, some impressive emotional release.
Absolutely. Yes.
But not yet physical.
Yes, I did. I followed I think it was the webinar 25 and 27, and I did that today in Starbucks. So I was sitting in Starbucks, and I had my sunglasses on so I could close my eyes and focus. Nobody knew what I was doing, which was amazing. And I managed to change. I had resentment and anger out of 10 for a particular business partner that let me down. I tried to create a website, and he ran off with the money. And the resentment and the anger was a real 10. Within that first one, literally after the 2 minutes was up, I couldn't locate the anger or the resentment. And then I got a voice that said, well, sort of, hang on, you knew about this person. But it also told me that not only did I project all of what I expected to happen, I also projected lots of good things about this person that he wasn't. So I hadn't just projected negative onto this person, I'd also projected that he was all these wonderful things. And it was a wonderful insight to think, wow, you project negative things, you also project positive things onto people, and they're not what you think they are.
Yeah, and that's one of the beautiful pieces of Optimal EFT. And many people report that kind of thing. And it's almost like in some cases, like a subtle afterthought, but it is probably the most powerful piece of it to get these insights and recognize these resentments or other emotions we have really are our own projections.
Yes.
And there's other insights come with them, and it really just takes the air out of the balloon, so to speak.
But I think with standard EFT, as you're doing that, the insight sort of creeps up on you after each round. You get that aha moment, but you sort of work along with it. This was an instant insight. It's like
you do get that kind of insight with the tapping form of EFT.
Yes.
It doesn't happen, in my experience, as often or as intense or flowered out, and so on. By the way, we're hearing a little noise in the background. That is your baby?
Yes. Sorry, I'll just so you, that's Jack.
Hi, Jack.
That's Jack. He's 4 months.
Okay.
Yes. So there we are. He'll be quiet.
We will certainly allow Jack to voice his opinion as he chooses, because he will do so anyway.
Okay.
All right. Now, I want to explore a little bit
Yes.
with what you've been doing with EFT so far, and from that foundation we can start hopefully doing some other things. Now,
On the pain?
yes, on
Yes.
the pain and related issues, I'll put it that way. Okay.
Yes, I'm actually feeling a bit nervous going into the issue. I can feel it building. Yeah, I'm a bit nervous.
When you say the issue, you're talking about an emotional issue behind it or the back
Yes,
itself?
behind the pain. When I followed another webinar earlier on today on this particular event and the resentment on resentment, and I tuned into the event, and the pain that I had after this event, which subsided maybe 3-4 weeks ago, came back and is back now with a vengeance.
Yes, and
so I know I opened something.
Okay, and that is because, I mean, I've heard this before. Okay, it does not mean that optimal EFT makes you worse, although that may seem to be what happened. It's more like unseen therapist is coming in. You've invited her in. She's more than happy to do whatever she can do, but she can only work with whatever your system will, metaphor, has on the table in plain sight.
Right.
She will not go beneath that and try to take away from you things you are resisting.
Right. Okay.
And you're resisting it whether you realize it or not. The resistance, this is what we call our guard at the gate. It's our resistance to really enter into the oneness, the spiritual oneness where all healing really resides.
Yes.
Okay. So we have these resistances. So this is my way of looking at it, Kim. It deals with whatever's on the table. If it's not on the table and we're dealing with some stuff, that means your system is starting to bring this up. It's unresolved, and it's going to, as you stir the pot.
Yes.
It's going to start showing physically things going on that are unresolved. So it's a clue to us what's going on. Now, what we need to do is you and I start talking about this to a degree.
Yeah.
And with some skills, hopefully on my part.
Right.
And with your cooperation, we can then start looking, what is it that's hidden down there? There it is. Let's put it on the table.
Right.
The real goal here is unseen therapist capable of doing this? Very capable. You can do anything we ask it to and more.
Okay.
Are we able to put the real issues on the table? That becomes our joint effort here.
Okay.
All right. Now, so let me ask you other questions. You told me in your email, oh, by the way, when you're talking about webinars you're watching my previous Optimal EFT webinars that are recorded on our website.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Sorry, I didn't know how up to date they were, so I thought I was watching old ones, and I looked at the date. And I thought, oh my God, they're completely up to date. So I've watched 24, 25, and then I got an email for 27. I got on your email, so that's the one I started to watch.
Okay, well, there's a bunch of webinars even before that. So
yes.
Okay, now I just said that for people listening in, so they know what we mean by webinars and so on. Okay, but you told me in an email that you and I had spoken maybe 11 years ago when you first started. So I gather your understanding of EFT is as a result of whatever you learned about it 11 years ago. Am I correct?
Yes, I certainly, I followed you, and I think I trained with Patricia Carrington. I say old school, the proper EFT. I certainly didn't do the ones that you've mentioned that are, I don't believe they're really real EFT. So yes, I kind of followed you in the Palace of Possibilities and that sort of thing.
Okay, all right. Well, the stuff that we did 11 years ago has been refined substantially since then. We now have a gold standard EFT tutorial on our website and all of that. So what I want to do is I want to explore with you how you have been using your understanding of EFT to date on your problem. So when you are addressing your back pain or your issues, tell me how you do it, even though I tend to always go into the emotion, because I think
mentally, I know everything, every pain is from an emotion.
All right.
So I instantly, and I can see it mentally, I can work out every ailment that I've got mentally. To me, it's so obvious and what each part of the body is trying to tell you. So I go in through that, and then I go, so it would be, even though I would go into the event behind the bad back, for instance. So even though I've got this bad back and it's caused by stress, I would maybe link stress to it. And then I would do EFT on the physical. I've got this burning pain. It's on the left side. I've got this burning pain. It reminds me of, I feel like I'm being stabbed pain, in the back, pain in the back, and I just follow it. I kind of go with it.
Okay. So, but I want to get back to the first part of that. What you were saying, you talked about getting to the event, but the words that you were using,
yes,
weren't really focusing on an event. Even though I have stress, I do. I mean, I will go to a specific event, even though, so the event that I mentioned had a cesarean almost against my will. So I would go in and into one part of that detail of the sort of whole event. And I've done EFT on that, but I can't work. It almost feels like, I don't know if it's a barrier with EFT, but it almost feels like there's me here, there's numbness, and I'm trying to tap on myself, but there's a barrier in between us. So it's pointless doing all this tapping because there's this sort of numb barrier, which is not really giving me an indication of how I really feel. Okay. Yes. I still want to get to the words for a moment, if I can.
Okay.
Now, if I heard you correctly, the event surrounds having a cesarean, giving birth by a cesarean section against your will.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, let's talk about that for a minute.
Okay.
I wasn't there, of course. I'm not female. I don't know. So I really can't stand in your shoes completely. Okay.
Okay.
But I can imagine that you want to give birth. You've got doctors telling you, no, cesarean section. You don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And by whatever means, you were forced to do it. You were either given some some gas or something like that. Yeah. You're gone, or held down, or something. Am I correct?
No, not quite held down, but being as I thought spiritual, I wanted a very natural birth, and being a 45-year-old woman, it was already baffling for the doctors to believe that a woman of 45 could actually get pregnant naturally. And I stayed away from hospitals, and I wanted to have a home birth and just give birth out somewhere in the park or whatever. But as time went on, I got to 43 weeks pregnant, which is considered very dangerous, and there's no such thing as 43 weeks, but of course there is. And I just had people ringing me, and doctors and midwives, and before I knew it, I was sort of poured into it. And then I went into hospital, and I still refused. Consultants would come in, I'd argue with them about facts and the lies they came out with about death rates and stillbirths and so on. And I really put up a fight for as long as I possibly could. And then he was supposed to be born in 17th of December, and he wasn't born. Well, not born. He was pushed out on the 10th of January. So in the end, I finally gave in with doctors and consultants, and I gave in. And at that point, I felt like it was my soul being. I never wanted my body to be cut or touched, and it was just, and I felt they'd cut the spiritual connection between me and you.
Now, those are the words that I'm looking for.
Ah, right.
Okay. You weren't held down and all that. You actually cooperated with them after a while. You gave up. You said, okay, if you, in a way, you said, if you must, but you're cutting my spiritual cord. I don't like this, you know, etc. I got all that?
Correct.
Okay. Now, see, what's important here is to get down to these details. It wasn't just stress because of the, I mean, that's too broad a term. Yes. Do you hear how broad that term is?
Yeah, dreadfully, yes. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's
I think I was trying to avoid telling you. I felt the backs of my knees were shaking when I was telling you the story, because I've not really sat and told anyone. So I was
okay. Well, the mere fact that your knees are shaking when you're telling the story is evidence that your previous approach with EFT was the wrong approach because you didn't get to it.
No, not at all. Not even.
Okay. So that's the big clue right there. The big clue. Okay. And by the way, this is not a criticism at all. This is more instruction, because a lot of people really don't have a firm handle. They don't have the kind of ultimate training we've now developed for people, which I would encourage you and others to do.
Yes.
Okay.
But you know what, Gary? I think the difference is, you know, when you're working with a client or somebody else, you can tune into their issues and their emotions, and you can see it all. But when it's yourself sitting in the room, you almost need to hear. You need someone else to hear you. You stop feeling alone. So immediately now, I don't feel so alone, because I've been alone doing it, all on my own doing it. And immediately you're now sharing my experience, and all of a sudden it's already feeling lighter. Somebody's really listening to it.
How's your back at the moment?
Yeah, it's about I've tuned in. It's about a 2.
Oh, it's about a 2.
Yeah, just one side. It's about a 2. It feels like a real burning muscle pain.
Oh, that's interesting, because it was a 7 or 8.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So now it's a 2.
Yeah.
And this is an interesting point. We are sharing this. There is as a result of that, there is a spiritual type connection going on, even though we're 10,000 miles apart.
You don't feel 10,000 miles away from me.
Well, that thanks to technology, but we are 10,000 miles apart.
It doesn't feel like it. As in, I don't feel you're far away from me.
Okay. But here you are discussing something that you tried to do on your own.
Yes.
And got basically no place. And now we haven't even done any kind of EFT other than simply discuss it, and the spiritual connection, at least for now. It doesn't make it permanent by any means. At least for now, has gone from a 7 or 8 down to a 2.
Yeah.
I got it?
Yes, correct.
Okay. All right. But so now let's go back to where we were. And that is this sense of frustration. Your spiritual cord is being severed. It's against your will. You've got all this emotional, very understandable emotional response. Okay.
The pain's come back up now, gone way back up to 9. And I know why, because you said, I find that quite upsetting. You said, I was doing a lot of EFT on this strange pain that I've got in my back at the lower part, and I was calling it bone, coil, so on. But as soon as you said spiritual cord, that's what I felt they broke.
Okay. Now there's another clue. See, what we're looking for with a specific, not only a specific event, but we want to get down to the specifics of the specific event. Yes. And we can tiptoe around it by saying, yes, we had a cesarean section and that was bad and I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Okay. And that may be very true. And that's as far as many people go. And sometimes that's all you need.
Yes.
Okay. But here we've got to the point of cutting this spiritual cord. You wanted to do this naturally.
Yes.
And they're throwing all this, I'm imagining to them very important information to them from their background and their understanding. You need to listen to us, Kim, because you're in danger if you don't. I mean, I can hear all that logic.
Yes.
Very clear.
Yeah. They didn't understand, you know, a woman could tune into her body and that I'd know. They just didn't understand. It was just very mechanical, very cold, very... And
they have lots of books they've read and experiences they've had and so on and so forth where you are wrong. And even if you're right, the odds are against you in their mind.
Yes, I was really fighting. I talked about EFT. I talked about everything I knew. They looked at me like I was insane, and I really fought my corner. And
so the resentment you were talking about was resentment at the doctors, nurses, etc., at the situation, at what?
Not so much, because I can see that that's their limited thinking. I can see that's that I understand. That's their training. Okay. So it's not so much that. It's more I don't want to go there. It's more the event itself, because I was very aware when certain things were happening. So that it's more me giving in. I feel utterly powerless, and I feel that I was preaching so much beforehand to women in workshops about giving birth naturally and having instincts and trusting them, that I not only let myself down, I've let all these other people down, because, you know, I went on about it so much, and I ended up the complete reverse, and almost in the not almost, but in a nightmare situation.
Okay, so I'm hearing two pieces. The spiritual cord got cut, and
that hurts when you say that. That goes ouch. That's a real ouch.
Okay, we're going to get to that in a minute. Hopefully we'll take the ouch out of it. We'll see. That's something we want to put on the table. And so right now, by the way, it's on the table. We just haven't formally addressed it, but it is now on the table.
Right.
With appropriate label. We think it's an appropriate label and all of that. Okay. But the other thing was, you opened your big mouth, put your reputation out there, and then gave in, right?
Yeah, I mean, what a failure, you know.
Yeah, and that hurts your ego and everything else. But so, okay. Now that is another seemingly very important piece of this, where you would have resentment, etc., because you were forced into becoming somebody whose reputation was now stained as a result.
Yes, but also, you know, and in here, it's a real heartfelt belief I have, and I went against everything. I could feel my soul almost crying. I could feel and so I even asked for a miracle. I thought something's got to happen, something before they take me to this room. So I felt, it sounds awful, but I felt God, and I felt I'd prayed to God, and I felt utterly let down. Like, why didn't he intervene? Why didn't somebody else?
Okay, and that's like making a prayer, if you will, to unseen therapists, who, for you, unseen therapists could be God, it could be Jesus, it could be Allah, it could be Holy Spirit, or whatever label you want to give to a spiritual presence. Okay, so God let you down. In a sense, unseen therapists let you down. But to go back to what we said earlier, they didn't let you down. You're hiding the real issue from them.
Sorry, I meant on the actual day. On the actual day, I had about 20 minutes before. If they would check to see, they gave me 2 minutes. If you dilate, great. We'll give you another day to give birth naturally. If there's been no change, we're dragging you in. And I had I had about an hour actually. And in that hour, I kind of thought, I kind of tuned into my higher self. And
okay, so I didn't have that quite right, but okay, I want to do a little optimal EFT with you.
Okay.
On these issues, but I want you first. I want you to give me a guess. This is part of what we call our Tearless trauma technique, and I do mean a guess. And that is, if you were to narrate this story in every single detail to me, exaggerating all of the sights, sounds, feelings, and everything else.
Yeah.
If you were to do that on a scale of 0 to 10, what would your emotional intensity be as a result of doing that?
10.
It would be a 10. Okay.
Absolutely.
I didn't want you to actually do it because I figured it was going to be high.
Oh, sorry. Right. Yes. Okay. I couldn't help it. As soon as I was tuning in with you.
Yeah, I know. Okay. But I want to try to minimize pain here. And the guess will do just fine here. Yes. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a little optimal EFT. And we'll do it together. Well, wait a minute. Let me back this up a second. I want to minimize pain for you.
Okay.
So I'm going to do it on my own in your behalf first. You don't do anything.
Okay.
Now, hopefully, and we'll see, after I do this, your guess about how intense this would be might not be a 10. If it is, tell me. Okay, we want to know that, okay? Might be something less. And then we can, maybe the two of us do it together. But I don't want you to do it.
Okay. So I'll just sit.
You just sit. Now, let me tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to imagine I am you. Because in the spiritual sense, and by the way, in the scientific sense, we are all one.
Yes.
We're not separated as it appears. Okay.
Yes.
So I can be you. I'll be you. I will imagine the intensity of this issue
Okay.
during this birth. And I will invite Unseen Therapist to do whatever she's going to do.
Okay.
And when that's done, which is going to be maybe a minute, maybe two, I'm not sure.
Okay.
You and I will have a discussion. How are you feeling? Did it help? Not help? I mean, you tell me. Okay.
Okay.
And it's okay, by the way, if it doesn't help. That's just input.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. My heart is pounding.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll see you in a minute. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Kim, if you would, give me your guess again. If you were to tell me the story in great detail, exaggerate everything, et cetera, do you think you'd still be a 10?
I'm already smiling. It dropped to a 7, and there was a strong, awful feeling in my throat, and it's gone to, it's about a 5, 6.
It's about a 5 or 6? 5 or 6?
5.
It's about well, it was just dropping as we speak?
Dropping as we speak, yeah, and it sat on 7, and then I was smiling at 7, then it dropped 6, so 5, yeah.
All right, so it roughly dropped in half.
Yes.
From a guess of 10 to a guess of 5.
Yeah, which is amazing, because I actually thought I'd be crying my eyes out even the moment we said the word cesarean, so something was already happening when we were first talking, because that's pretty amazing.
All right, I want to have you say something for me.
Okay.
A short sentence.
Okay.
And then when you say it, tell me what intensity, if any, it brings up.
Okay.
And say this: they cut my spiritual cord.
They cut my, you want me to say they cut my
Yeah.
Okay. They cut my spiritual cord.
Now, what kind of intensity is that?
So, a 1, if that.
A 1, from a 10 to a 1.
10 to 1. There's no tightness in my chest. There's no feeling that I'm going to burst out crying. There's that strange, almost sickly feeling every time I thought that they'd cut into my soul or my cord, or no, it's not there. It's not there.
Okay.
Wow.
Give me your guess now. If you were to narrate this for me in all this detail, would it still be a 5?
Yeah. I'd be able to say it without feeling I'm going to collapse. And
well, okay, but would it be a 5 or some other number?
I wouldn't know unless I went into it, but I guess it feels like it'd be, if you asked me to tell you, it feels like it would still be a 5.
Okay, good. All right, okay. All right, so I'm gathering from that, what you said, that there's enough relief on the cut the cord spiritual side of it.
That was my killer.
That you could now participate with me, and we can do this jointly.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So let's do it.
It's much easier, Gary, than I ever anticipated.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So we'll do this again, but this time you will join in with me. This will be just a little bit different. I'm going to do the same thing I already told you that I did. I'm just going to do it again.
Okay.
Okay. And then you do the same thing. That is, you go back in your own mind to this event, my God, they're cutting my spiritual cord and all of that. Okay.
Okay.
You go back to that, get into that. You may have some intensity you're not expecting. Okay. But go ahead.
There's a sort of key, there's a nut inside of that. So because there's an event, a part of that event it's got the highest spike for me.
Okay.
And where they were putting in the epidural, so I didn't want any injections. They were hammering into the bottom of my spine, and I was crying. I was crying so much, and there was no care. I asked them to stop, and I was having labour pains, but at that point it didn't matter. And they were hammering this tube to go into my back, and then they said, we're going to press something and see what happens to your body. And they pressed it, and all the nerves in my legs and toes started to react. It was almost like electric shock. So they had complete control over my body. At that point, I just almost wanted to die. At that point, I felt I died. I felt I was in the worst place I could be in.
Okay, thank you. Let me get behind that for a second. Your response to that was because of the pain, because of the cutting the spiritual cord piece, something else.
It was just vile. It was vile. It was just how they do that every day is beyond me.
Okay.
That's hammering into a human being or a pregnant woman. I just found it all very wrong, and
okay.
It was just wrong.
Yes. And what I'm going back to what we were saying earlier. From their point of view, they were doing what was necessary. Yes.
Yes.
You may not like it. Yes, it may hurt and so on, but medically it is necessary. So goes those beliefs.
Yes.
And they were doing what they thought was best for you.
Yes.
I don't want to put words in your mouth.
No, yes, I think it was barbaric, and just, to me, it's just not right. But yes, to them, it's an everyday, normal thing to do.
Listen, there are a lot of things that to me are barbaric.
Yes.
The way our war veterans are handled with this very old kind of stuff.
Yes.
It's just, to me, barbaric compared to what we could be doing.
Yes.
EFT with them, but that's a bureaucratic thing and so on. But anyway, it's a parallel stuff. So, okay, but this is a good thing that you do. You had the tears about it, etc. But what it does is it unearths another very specific piece of this.
Yes.
That was, can you see how that may have been hidden from your earlier attempts?
Yeah, I knew it was there. I never went there.
Okay, well, this kind of a thing now starts to bring it up, put it on the table, etc. So now, that's going to adjust what we do here. So what I'm going to do is we do this together. My side of it is to be you, and here is this epidural thing being hammered at me. It is vile. I might academically understand, they understand where they're coming from, but I'm not buying it.
Yes, yes.
Okay, and it hurts, and it's vile, and everything else.
Yes.
And I'm also recognizing that here I am sometime later, and I'm still carrying it around, and it's costing me.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I got all that in my head while I'm doing this.
Absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Okay, so I'm going to imagine myself being you, being in this place, unseen therapist coming in to resolve. Okay. And I just be quiet until somehow or other it just feels like, well, we've gone as far as we're going to go for now. Okay. So we come back. And what you will do is the same thing.
Okay.
But the difference here is going to be that you are going to be the one to break the silence. I will keep doing it. You stay with it.
Okay.
Whether that's 15 seconds or 3 minutes or whatever.
Okay.
You just stay with it until there's probably no more to do here. However you want to assess that. There is no rules.
Okay. And
then you just come out of it and you'll just say something and we'll come out and we'll discuss it, okay?
Okay.
We have competition.
No, not now. No. No, this is so important. So no, please, you leave there. There we are. There we are. Sorry.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait.
No, please, not now, please.
Are you able to do this holding Jack?
Pardon?
Are you able to do this holding Jack?
Yes.
All right. Let's you and I, just for the moment, do something different. Let's you and I become Jack. He is upset about something.
Yes.
Let's bring an unseen therapist. Doesn't always work, but let's just bring an unseen therapist and see if there's a calming piece. So we'll just do that. I'll break the silence here, okay? But just become Jack. Whatever is bothering him, just unseen therapist. Okay. All right.
He's already smiling.
All right. Be quiet. Okay, he seems to be quiet at the moment. So now just leave him where he is or wherever you're comfortable. Let's close our eyes. Let's do what we were going to do. You know, imagine the hammering and all that stuff and your emotional response, bring an unseen therapist. You break the silence, okay?
Okay, it's clear.
Okay.
Yes, I'm going in through the doors, being given injections, the curtain coming up, you know, for where they cut into you, running the whole thing and the epidural, the whole thing.
Okay,
yes.
do this, Kim, as a test. I always love to test things, okay? And let me give instructions first before you do it. In a moment, when I say go, just you'll close your eyes. You'll go back to the event that you believe you've cleared, and you will relive it in exaggerated terms. You will exaggerate the sights, the sounds, the feelings. You are literally trying to get yourself upset about it. You're doing everything you can to really get worked up.
Okay.
Do that. If you find something, great. If you don't, well, we'll talk about it. So go ahead.
There's just another part of it, so another aspect of it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that would just the bit of him being held up, cord being cut, which I never wanted, and him sort of the baby being far away and seeing him over there. That was very hurtful. It was.
Okay. So the emotion is hurtful. Is it anger? Is it what?
Just hurt, deep sadness that I never had him with me. It's just a sadness. It's not terrible, by the way. It's livable, but it's just it's about a 3. It's not even.
It's about a 3. Okay, but that is an aspect that was not on the table.
Yes.
So we want to be as thorough as we can. So even though it's only a 3, and 3 might, these numbers aren't precise. You can't just give precise numbers to all these things. But maybe 3 is just a normal sadness. I don't know. But let us put that on the table. We'll do an optimal EFT round on it. We'll both do it. You imagine the cord being cut, he's being over there. You have this sort of, I'm going to call it empty feeling.
Yes.
I'm also going to put in the term powerless because you used that earlier and we didn't really use that in what
yes, very significant. That's most definitely how I felt. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to get this powerless feeling. You, of course, can get to it easier than I can because you lived it. Okay.
Okay.
And you again break this. We'll bring in unseen therapist, and you again break the silence. Okay.
Okay. Can I ask one thing as a newbie to this?
Uh-huh.
I know there's no. I was listening to what you said. There's no right way of doing it, but there's Golden Globe. So I'm assuming what I'm doing is correct so far. I'm just imagining what I'm imagining is in a unseen therapist, it being light and love.
Yeah. I was assuming you'd been through part of our website, and
yeah,
you said you used it before and so on. But
yes.
let's just go over that. The idea is to get quiet, to get into a loving space.
Yes.
And this is sometimes a challenge because sometimes we've got a lot of chatter going on and it competes with it and so on. But you get quiet, and then you bring up the issue. You're putting it on the table.
Yes.
And the more specific you can get to it, the better in your imagination. And you're inviting in all this time unseen therapist. You don't have to do it with some great routine like, turn around 3 times and repeat some words and do some ritual. You don't even have to say, come on in. The door, you've just opened the door. You're expecting her to come on in, okay? Yeah. And she'll come in and do whatever she does. You're expecting her to do it, and she does it. And to the extent she can, you may be hiding more stuff we're not aware of, okay? She does what she can do, etc. And then we go from there, okay? Fair enough?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, you break the silence. See you in a minute.
Oh. Okay.
All right, so what happened?
Well, inside the bit when the baby was over here and Jack was here, I've seen another side to it. The fact that I did get to hold him and photos were taken, and that actually I could see love in that, which I couldn't see before. Amazing. And then I went backwards back to the epidural, and I can't believe I couldn't see it before. And of course, the making my body almost have electric shock is where the pain is right at the base of my back, is where I remember sitting there and thinking, oh my God, they've plugged me into something and my soul is going to be sucked up. That's how I felt. That's literally the pain is back. The pain is back. It's like throbbing at the moment. It's right at the base. And of course, that's where that happened. So that part of the memory, it feels electric, the memory itself. If I picture myself having all the nerves go up and down, and they said, we're about to inject you and you're going to feel like you're being electrocuted. I can feel that, though. It's still high. So
we're back now to another aspect of the epidural piece.
Yes.
Yet more that was hidden that needs to go on the table.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I keep saying that because we have people listening in. I'm trying to teach.
Yes. I like it on the table. It makes a lot of sense. Yes.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's under the table or someplace else, and And see, the interesting thing about the unseen therapist is, and this is a spiritual understanding, at least that I go by, that comes from A Course in Miracles, and I know you study that as well. And that is, this stuff gets hidden, and it gets hidden in a way that we just simply aren't aware of. long ago. We've dismissed it. We've even forgotten it.
Yeah.
But here it shows again. Now, you also said, and I forgot to make this relation earlier on, that I think you said the pain you are now feeling on your back
Yes.
is the same as the feeling a long time ago. Hold on a second. Gary Craig, I got to call you back. All right. Where was I? I'm sorry.
Yes. You're saying that the pain, where the pain is in the back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So am I getting it that the pain you're feeling now is the pain from that epidural?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I should have pulled that together to begin with, but how obvious is it that the emotional stuff there is still keeping that pain around?
I can't believe I hadn't. To me, it's God. How could I not see that? It's obvious.
Okay. You're working with somebody else, and unseen therapist comes in, and these insights starts popping up.
Yes.
In ways that really help the therapist, because I have to do less digging, if you will, less detective work.
Yes.
Boom, here it comes. Okay. So now we're back to the epidural.
Yes.
Thing. So tell me the specifics of what came up on this aspect.
Literally, I felt the electricity I'd felt that day, where it shook my entire body. The pain of that, the actual the electricity going through.
Okay. And can you feel that electricity now?
Yes, I relived it. Yes.
At this moment, you're feeling the electricity?
Yes. I could, if I close my eyes, I could feel it. I'm so sorry.
Okay, so we weren't able to calm Jack down as we thought we might. He is now...
It was tiredness. He was overtired.
Overtired. Well, okay, so we're about, 20 or 30 minutes later now and so on.
Yeah.
Okay, so remind me where we left off.
I was tuning in, going back through the event. We'd picked up another part you'd said on the table, which was the epidural going to the back and having the electricity feeling. And you asked, did I actually...
You were feeling the electric shocks at the moment.
Yes.
Do you feel them now?
No, in the time that I've had, in the last 10 minutes, I played it all out, and I was trying to latch on to something, but it doesn't, if I sort of tune into it, it's a little bit, it's probably about 2, but considering it was a 10, that's pretty good.
How is your back pain doing?
The bottom pain it's there, but it's moving. It's moving all around the front. It's almost like how I felt when I came out of hospital. Enough, so it's moving. And it's down to about 3, 4.
And it's moving, but it's moving around the front.
Yes, it's right at the bottom of the tailbone, so right at the bottom. And I know why it's still there. I've got an image.
All right.
And the image was I'd read on a forum somewhere that when you have a cesarean, they take your bowels out to get the baby out. And when I read that sort of put me into oh my God shock. So every time I feel that pain, I picture something to do with bowels, and I go back to that. The content that I saw on that website.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm hearing another aspect is what I'm hearing. Okay. And so as you, guess for me. If you were to literally tune into this, reimagine it in vivid detail, what number do you think you would get to? The bowel.
Yes, the whole event itself.
The bowel piece.
The bowel piece. That's I'll pick them up. That's out of 7. That's out of 7.
You would guess that a 7. Okay. You can wait.
He clearly doesn't want to. He's not normally like this either. Very odd. He's not. He'll come down. He'll come down. Sorry.
It's okay. All right.
Clearly.
Let's do this. We'll just close it down for now.
Sorry.
When you are sure that you're going to have we'll call it uninterrupted time.
He will stop. Go into a. There we are. He will stop. Didn't they say never have babies or animals around? Clearly, he's got.
Okay. Well, something is going up. So, I think the thing to do so we don't have competition is you. I mean, I will close all this down.
Okay.
You email me back.
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready, and I'll email you back with the time.
Okay.
And the link and all that. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, now he chooses to be quiet. Do you think we should proceed, or?
He literally, it's just this time, and he kind of does this for about 5 minutes, and then he goes into a deep sleep. It's kind of a pattern, and I didn't realise the time it was that time when he has this very strange baby pattern.
All right. So now that Jack appears to be in Peaceland, so
it's the 7.
Yeah, the emotional intensity about the bowel movement out of the way kind of thing is about a 7.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And all right. Remind me, are you at the moment feeling the electric shocks in the tailbone area?
No, not the electric shocks, but there's pain there, a low throbbing pain.
A low throbbing pain, and that's still the 3 or 4?
Yeah, and that's as I say, I think relating to the image that I've got in my mind, that they're brewing or mucked things about in my body.
Well, by now, Kim, we are veterans at this process.
Yes.
So the thing to do is we will both be quiet.
Okay.
We will both imagine this bowel issue and the emotional response to it. We'll bring an unseen therapist, and you break the silence, okay? And then we'll talk. All right?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, great. Okay.
All right.
Pain is gone around the stomach area.
Wait. Has it left the tailbone and come to the stomach area?
It's still a little bit in the tailbone, but it's all around the stomach. It's just a little.
Okay. Excuse me. I'm an engineer. Okay, so I have to have.
I know you love your numbers and your.
Yes. So,
exactly.
but tell me, the pain in the tailbone that was a 3 or 4.
Yes.
In the tailbone, is it still what number is it?
It's a 1.
It's a 1. Okay.
Yeah.
The way I look at it is it didn't move. You have a new pain in the stomach
Right.
area. Okay.
Okay.
Now, people can debate that, et cetera, but that's just after experience. That's the way I see it. It's like we are taking care of the emotional drivers to the tailbone area.
Okay.
But now other issues are coming up, which are showing up in the stomach area.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and so we may not know what those are, but after years of experience, I mean, that's the way I look at it, and it tends to, that process tends to work nicely. Okay. So tell me about the stomach area pain.
It's all around the bottom of the stomach, which I had before previously. That left on its own. That got better on its own over time. So I put that down to having a cesarean. It was all aches and pains. And yeah, I think it's about a 4, 5, and yeah, I think there's something in my mind that thinks there's something worse going on. That's what it is. I know what it is. I feel I've lost a connection with my own body, a trust that I could trust my body, my bowels, whatever I kind of trusted in myself, and I feel that I've lost that. I've lost that trust.
Okay, as a result of this image, or as a result of what the doctors were doing, as a result of other things that have happened since, what? The
whole thing. So the whole, right from the pregnancy all the way through to birth or cesarean, there was like a disconnect. I started slowly disconnecting myself. So,
all right. You said starting with the whole pregnancy. So at the very beginning, there was mistrust?
As time went on, yes. Up until, sorry, I should be clear, right the way throughout I was okay, and maybe 1 month, 3 weeks beforehand, I started to get information, and people would contact me and tell me, get induced, quickly give birth, and so on, because the baby will die, and there was images of death, stillbirth, death, and before I knew it, I lost this trust that I knew that would never happen. I'd lost it by this point.
As you say that right now, do you have physical symptoms?
This back pain keeps going up, the one that's right, sort of where a bra strap would be. That's really keeps going really high, and that's the one that I was working on. That goes up to about a 10, and it's every time I hold Jack, it's almost I can't hold him for more than a minute without the pain increasing tremendously.
So this middle back pain is now a 10?
Yeah, it was a 10 when I was rocking him, when we switched off because he was crying. It goes up to a 10, and it's only come up in the last 4 days when I started to do work on all my memories.
Well, there's a big clue right there. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
These are memories from years ago. I started from the day I was born. I've been writing a manual on every
okay.
memory.
Well, all right. What may be happening here is that this session that we're doing here ends up being a good start.
Yes.
Because we all have a lifetime of these issues.
Yes.
Now we can do a thing or two more, but my guess is things are going to keep popping up. And one of the things that keeps coming up to my mind, I just want to ask you about this, is that this whole cesarean event occurred a few months ago. It's in terms of time, it's fairly recent. It's not back to childhood or anything.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
And oftentimes, I find that current things that seem to be so devastating to us. Well, they have. This is my thoughts. They have two parts to them. The painful responses, etc., have two parts. One is the normal response you would have, because who likes to have a cesarean section? Who likes to be told, we're going to have it whether you like it or not?
Yeah.
And all of that. I mean, who likes that? I mean, there's a very normal resentment. Yes. It's a normal piece. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's also an excess piece.
Yes.
Over and above what a normal response would be. Now, most of us I suspect it's here, you have an excess response to that. It's still there. It's causing you back pains and all kinds of stuff. We get the excess because there's unresolved stuff clear back in the past that the current stuff is bouncing off of.
I know what all of that is. I know what my emotional signature is, if you like. I can feel this whole sense. If I look at every event, there's this sense of powerlessness. Nobody's come to help me. Every event, every single event, there's nobody came to me, and I was powerless.
And I'm remembering your emails, and the word powerless was in there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, so what we've done is we've looked at a current powerless event.
Yes.
And we've got some work done on it, but stuff keeps showing up. You know, the stomach thing, the electric stuff, we're getting results, yay, but stuff keeps popping up.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, the theme of powerlessness is a great theme to use for our personal peace procedure. Are you familiar with it?
Yes. Yes.
I would go back to our website, the gold standard part of our website, where it's embellished and talked about in great detail.
Right.
And remind yourself how to do that. But you take a list of all of your powerlessness events.
Yes. Bring
an unseen therapist for each of them.
Okay.
And start getting to the point where the powerlessness and the lack of trust in your body.
Yep.
A subset of powerlessness, perhaps.
Okay.
Okay. And just start using Optimal EFT on each of those events. Do a couple a day or 3 a day or something like that.
Yeah.
After you've done this for a month, you've got 60 or 90 of them.
Okay.
And by then, and after 2 or 3 months, you've got a whole lot more.
And no tapping at all?
What's that?
No normal tapping?
If you want to, go ahead. I just choose to use unseen therapist. We still use the idea of personal peace procedure.
Yes.
But instead of tapping, I think it's more powerful.
Yes, I mean it's going to cover aspects, and I think there's obviously a much bigger connection as well.
Yeah, especially when you're doing it on your own and you don't have somebody, like me with some experience to help dig this stuff up.
Yes.
We've gone so far now. You can see the theme. We've dug that up, so to speak. That theme.
Yeah.
And now you have on the table all this other material. For the moment, I'm going to have to put this in your lap, Kim, because we could go on forever.
Yeah.
All I really wanted to do here is give you a good start.
Well,
but for the moment, close your eyes. Close them now. Go back to any event in your past that you choose where you felt powerless.
Yeah.
Vividly imagine that and tell me what number you get to on a powerless scale.
10.
10. How do you know you're a 10?
Because I'm reliving it. Same feeling in the chest, same disbelief. Exactly the same. Nothing's changed from that event. It's very vivid.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to have you say a sentence for me, okay?
Okay.
And what you do is you say the sentence, and then you give me a 0 to 10 number on how true does it feel on a scale of 0 to 10. 10 is, boy, is that ever true. That's absolutely true. And 0 is, nothing. Okay?
Yeah.
Somewhere in between. Okay. But I'm not looking for the logical response. I'm looking for the emotional response.
Okay.
How true does it feel?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so here's the sentence. I am powerless. Say it first.
I am powerless. Doesn't feel true.
Oh, it doesn't feel true.
No, not that. I'm not powerless as a person sitting here, but the events in my life have made me powerless.
Okay, I'm wondering if you gave me a logical response rather than how it feels.
Yeah, if I sit here and say I'm powerless right now.
Uh-huh. Well, you are.
I'm completely powerless now. There's no, I can't get a feeling.
All right. All right.
So whether I'm tuned into it correctly or not, I don't know. But there isn't a feeling where I'd feel, if you said, do you dislike yourself or do you have self-hate or something, I could tune into that. But it doesn't bring up anything. There's no emotional charge whatsoever.
Okay. You also brought up in one of your emails self-hate.
Yes, that became very real with the baby. It became strangely real.
Okay. That is also another theme to use with the personal peace procedure.
Right.
You've got powerlessness and self-hate. So in self-hate, you go back to all the times in your life where, I mean, a lot of times you're talking about guilt issues, things you wish you hadn't done and all that kind of stuff. And
yeah,
said, and we all have that. We all got piles of it. Okay. We can't go through life without piling that stuff on. all we can do is deny it.
Yes. For many years. Yes. But what in terms of when there's obviously, yes, people have self-hate, they go through a circumstance, they do something wrong, they have regret, they think about it, God, they hate themselves. But there's that, and there's a self-hate, and there's this energy, this dark energy, something that I've been aware of for maybe the last 2-3 years, and a real sense of almost feels like an entity that's there in front of you. And it became more apparent whilst having a baby that's so pure and untouched and unconditioned and pure light and love. And every time I would look at him, I could feel this ugliness, this darkness against such light.
Yeah.
Sort of really brought it up especially the last two months or so.
Well, we have cases just like this in our recent webinars. I forgot which numbers, 26 or something.
Yeah, it was one about dark energy.
Yeah,
yes.
The ones with Linda Carr.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now in Linda's case, she goes from this very blissful state she had never felt before as a result of optimal EFT. And then her guard at the gate almost punishes her for going there and says, okay, you get to this dark one now, okay? And you just told me about a parallel thing. You get this light and love looking at Jack, and it's a big time,
yes,
big time spiritual experience.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's, I don't know for sure. It's just my take at this time,
right,
is that that's evidence that you are tuning in to the beauty of our spiritual life, to the oneness, if you will. You are tuning into it, and your guard at the gate, your ego, your resistance to the oneness is showing up and giving you a little darkness, okay?
Right. Yes.
And if that's easy,
that makes sense.
Our whole effort with Optimal EFT is to recognize this push and pull. Not everybody has darkness, okay? They have different things.
Yeah.
But you've had some darkness, Linda Carr had some darkness, and so on. So it's a matter of working with it so we get more and more of the spiritual bliss stuff and less of the darkness. And after a while, the darkness pit right. fade, and we get more. We climb our spiritual ladders more and more and more. And that's the goal. That's the goal here. So,
okay,
getting to these two themes, the self-hate and the powerlessness.
That seems so easy.
Yeah.
Because in your mind, obviously, you have many events which have got different content to them. Yes, they probably have all got the same signature: powerlessness, self-hate.
Yeah. And chances are, after you do 5 or 10 or 15 of each one of them, and there may be hundreds of each, okay? But after you do 5 or 10 or 15, whatever it is, of each of them, or maybe with unseen therapists, you only need 2 or 3, maybe even 1. I've seen that. You'll start to collapse these things, and the whole idea of being powerless just seems to, I mean, we are all you're powerless when Jack cries in a way, okay? Okay, so we are all powerless in a sense, but as far as it being a big issue in your life, it's down to normalcy, okay?
Okay.
And the same with this self-hate. It doesn't become self-hate anymore. It's like, there's a few things I wish I hadn't done. There's a
Right.
difference.
So can I ask then, if this is obviously for new viewers as well, and I'd certainly forward this on to friends as well to help them, because they no doubt will ask me. When you say it's a theme, so you tune in, I would just sit here and my thought would be I have self-hate, and then I would tune into a particular event.
No, to me, the way I would do it
Right.
is I would make personal peace procedures, ask you to make a list of your specific events, okay,
Yes.
with 0 to 10 intensities as specifically as you can. All right.
Okay.
And so you have your self-hate specific event list. And it says, when I was 4 years old, and I'm going to make this up, when I was 4 years old, the time when I was 4 years old, when my mother locked me in the closet because
Yeah.
I was such a bad girl at
Yeah.
the Thanksgiving dinner table, okay? I
Yeah.
made that up, okay?
Yes. Yes.
And you're sitting there hating yourself in the closet for whatever had happened.
Okay.
So that's a specific event. Tune in to the specific event. Emphasize specific, the more specific you can get. You have hatred, maybe you have guilt, maybe you have blah, 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 blah.
Well, that's what I was thinking, because surely you can probably clear that, and then up would pop. There was a lot of fear in that, or a lot of, would you go back in again and then give it the time? Guilt, shame.
And bring in unseen therapists
Okay.
and keep doing it until, you know, that event you go, well, it's something like when you were 5 years old and fell off your bicycle and skinned your knee, it hurt.
Yes.
Okay, but so what? Okay, that's so long ago. You don't have any charge on it anymore.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
All right, it's the same kind of thing, and you can do this with the personal peace procedure unseen therapist. But you want to get to the specific event first. Then get yourself back into the specific event. Bring an unseen therapist with all the emotions involved. Keep doing it until, and then go to the next one on your list, and then the next one on your list. And after a while, maybe by the time you get to number 4 or number 5, you have a hard time even finding it because.
Okay. And would you, so on anything current, so even if your current condition is, I'm assuming you wouldn't do anything on anything past, 2-3 months, or?
I don't want to say never do anything current. We just did on something current, and it produced some results. Okay.
Okay.
What I'm saying is the high likelihood is it is not the current one that's really the problem.
Yes.
It seems like the problem.
Yes.
But it's bouncing off of stuff that hasn't been resolved from way back when.
Yes.
So make your personal peace procedure from way back when,
Christ.
and just methodically go through it.
Good God, that it'd be thousands of pages.
Well, okay, but you don't need to. You're not going to need to do thousands.
Okay. Okay.
You're going to need to do 5, 10, 15 well. And with unseen therapists, maybe it's only 1, 2, 3, 5.
Okay.
Okay. But whatever it is, you just keep doing it until you go on that event. Then you go to the next one and the next one. And,
okay. Okay.
all right. And you're back, and other issues just should start fading. I'd love to know what happens.
Okay. So I'll do this. I will certainly let you know.
All right. But for the moment, let us close our eyes. We're not going to go to self-hate because we already started with powerlessness. Yeah. Let's just close our eyes. You go, I'm going to imagine me being you, feeling powerless. You go back to some specific event where you felt powerless. Okay. We're going to bring in an unseen therapist to resolve it.
Tell you about the event I've got. No.
Yeah, the event you've got.
Oh, you don't need to know it.
I don't know. I'm going to be more general here.
Okay.
Okay. But you be very specific with yours.
Right.
Then you break the silence. Let's just see what happens.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Okay.
Let me tell you first what came up for me. I want
Okay.
to hear what came up for you. I'm sitting there being you, and I became you as a baby in the womb.
Okay.
And I was feeling powerless even there. It's as though maybe there were arguments going on outside. It's as though something was happening. Your mother was rejecting you. I'm making this up. I don't know. There was
Yeah.
something about it, but even inside the womb, you felt powerless. An unseen therapist came in and bathed me, you,
Oh, I'd need that.
you know, in,
There's truth in that. My father, my mother was 7 months pregnant with me. And he kicked her down the stairs
oh,
while she was seven months pregnant. So,
well,
uh,
to the,
I,
to the extent you tune into that, that's a good powerless beginning.
wow.
Okay. So what happened with you?
It's bizarre. It starts the same way. It's wonderful. It's a very bizarre energy going on. So it was a 10, and I played the scenario in my powerless event. It went to a 9 in my throat, dropped to a 7, went into the chest, and now it's stuck. It changed from feeling powerless to anger at the person, and it felt locked. It's locked in here
Okay.
at a 5, anger.
Okay. So see,
But you can feel it sort of, you can feel it moving, and you know, one part of the brain wants to say, I'm sure I'm imagining this, and you know, I'm definitely not. It's something is
all right.
strangely happening.
All right. Close your eyes, tune into that issue, and to the best you can, um, uh, tune into how powerless you feel, setting aside the anger bit. I just want to see if you can do it. Separate out the powerlessness. Is the powerlessness gone, or is there still some powerlessness there?
Powerlessness is about a 2. It's about a 2.
Okay, so you went from a 10 to a 2
Yes.
on
Yes.
that issue. Okay,
Yep.
at least for now. Now the ultimate test is how is it tomorrow? Okay,
Right.
you try it again, et cetera, et cetera. But in a new aspect came up, the anger. Okay, that's a new one to deal with. So then you want to deal with that one, and maybe grief will come up out of it. I don't know. Some other thing may come up,
Okay.
but you want to just keep doing that. But all the time, we're just cleaning house is what we're doing.
This is one. How does it work? I know everybody would be watching this saying this is wonderful, and you know, there's many spiritual methods out there. But when you really think about how does it work, is it our higher consciousness?
Of course.
Locking into something, you know, tuning into.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing behind Optimal EFT.
Of course, there's love.
Yeah, it's love is the ultimate healer, but there's also the spiritual understanding that we are all one, which is now, and not separate, which is now thoroughly backed up by our advanced scientists, our quantum physicists.
Yes.
The atomic level they have discovered everything is connected. There is no such thing as separation. It's actually impossible.
Yes.
So, but we believe we are separated, and as a result we have all these things going on. We have conflicts with people, and you know, doctors that want to do cesarean sections and all this stuff. Okay.
Yes.
I mean there's millions of conflicting things going on in a illusory separate world. That's what we're dealing with, but we're dealing with it in a way where we're trying to leave the separate world behind and understand our oneness.
Okay.
And we're getting more and more to the oneness, and what we're doing is inviting in a representative of the spiritual dimension, the oneness, to resolve these issues. And we can go ooh and ah and oh, which is fine, but we eventually want to get to the place where we expect it,
right,
rather than we are awed by it.
Okay. Yeah. I've always spoken to a higher self, and always believed, you know, when I've been a bit stuck, that my higher self goes off and talks to this soul group, and they have a chat on my behalf and work out my issues on my behalf. And sometimes it worked, and you know.
Well, sometimes it works, yes, just like we're doing it here. Sometimes it doesn't, and I'm repeating myself, but that's because our resistance to the oneness, our guard at the gate, is hiding stuff.
Yes.
And that's why it appears not to work.
Yeah. Okay, it makes sense when you look at it. That's the ego rather than yourself. When you're doing normal EFT, after a while, you start to think there's something wrong with me. You know, I've made progress and I'm not really getting anywhere. But when you look at it as the ego, the dark, I call it darkness, but it is the ego, sort of holding you back. Why? Because it will die. Obviously, if you're pure love, it has to give itself up.
Yeah, there's nothing but a belief. It's a little poof. You know, but it's got its hold big time on us.
Yes, and it feels huge. It feels like a dark demon almost that owns you.
And it appears to our senses convincingly that we are all separate and all these issues are real. You know.
Yeah.
So
none of them are.
Well, that's where we're going anyway. But they appear that way, so we're doing our best.
Yeah, I get that.
Okay, so let me know what happens, Kim, okay?
Okay, so I'll do what you say, and I'll email you?
Sure.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much, Gary. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.